with BeTerrific.
Woohoo! Hello, everybody. Welcome to World Studio Tour Episode 6.
We are PTZOptics. My name is Tess Protesto.
And I'm Paul Richards.
Today's a very exciting show. We were in the Netherlands last week. This week, we are back in the United States in New Jersey with BeTerrific's CEO Michael Artsis.
Let's go right to Michael and say hello.
Hey everybody, how you doing? The Netherlands, huh? You guys were a little late. IBC was in September. What were you guys doing there?
Visiting our friend Hewitt Klink, who works from a co-working space over there. Really cool stuff.
Yeah,
Very
he
nice.
does live streaming over there. These co-working spaces like WeWork are really becoming huge hotspots for collaboration and different small businesses working together.
They absolutely are, and there's a great company called Stream My Event out of Amsterdam that is working out of a kind of WeWork space, and they're using all this technology to stream all sorts of events. So there's lots of organizations popping up all over the globe to professionally stream events and do it with gear like PTZOptics.
So,
Well, we
Michael,
like
I
to
know
hear
you've
that.
just gotten done some really interesting remote production, and I think that's going to be a topic today that I'd like to cover with you. It really opens up the world of live streaming beyond just the studio. Can you tell us a little bit about what you did remotely? And we have a LiveU here I think you're going to probably be talking a little bit about as well.
Yeah, so I mean, the first thing is that production in a studio is very nice. It's great because you can really be efficient about your costs and keep your costs down, but remote production has really been very expensive for many years. It's also very hard to set up and takes a lot of time, whether you're rolling a production truck or bringing all your gear in. And we've constantly been looking at ways to make everything more efficient. So we started doing some of our shows that are remote. They're not here, they're in the field or on location. And we started by live switching them so that when we came back, we could cut down our production time. So we spent a lot of time figuring out how to light them properly, how to get great audio, and have to spend less time in post-production, because a week for a half an hour episode seems like it's a lot of post-production time and it's a lot of cost. And if we could get rid of a lot of that cost, we can do more productions and we can actually do a better job. And so we started by doing that. And right around the time of NAB, we're a partner with LiveU, and we were introduced to a new concept called at-home production. And the idea was, instead of using the LiveU, instead of taking our video switcher on location and taking the LiveU pack and streaming live off of the LiveU pack, one source, right, being the output of the switcher to the internet, that we would instead we would take multiple packs, put each camera and put it on a pack and use the cellular bonding to send each camera back to our facility. And we would somehow sync those cameras up and switch them live from our facility. So number one, just by doing that, we did E3 live like that. That was the first time we did something like that. Or we did a few tests, but the first major thing was E3. E3 is the gaming convention. So instead of being locked to a set, which we normally would, we would have a set at CES or NAB or any of these other things. Right. We decided that we could walk around the convention and show everybody's booth off by having a multi-camera live production, and we could have two crews. So we had two crews at E3, each with multiple cameras, 2 cameras each, and we could do a tight and a close-up camera, and we could also have that the wide shot, or we have a wide and a close-up camera rather. We could have that wide shot peel off during the interview and get B-roll of the booths and show off the products and booths and stuff, and it worked very well. The idea was that each camera was tied to a cellular pack, and we sent it back here live. It was switched here live and whatever. So number one, we cut down on the personnel we had to send. Number two, we cut down on the travel and the costs for the travel. Number three, the crew back here was well rested and very focused. They didn't have to, take time away from their families and all that other stuff. And during the day when we weren't live, they could do their normal tasks and get regular business done. So it's a lot more efficient doing that. We realized that. Okay, so that's the first step of the process. And then we were approached by a soccer team from the NASL and asked if we could do a much more inexpensive and a much more efficient yet high quality production. And we said, sure, we're going to use at-home production. The Boston Red Sox used it for spring training. We've deployed it. We're a partner of LiveU. This is what we're going to do. And they said, well, okay, how are you going to do the cameras? And I said, well, we're going to do manned cameras. I think that that's the way sports should be done. And they said, well, we've tried this thing called automatic TV, and it hasn't worked out that well. But basically, it takes 3 cameras, stitches them together. You get about an 8K resolution image, and then you automatically zoom in around the image to where you want, and you're basically cropping the image. And so they thought that that would be an autonomous way to do sports. You can even add an RFID chip to the ball and a jersey of a couple of key players, and the camera can kind of track them. Supposedly, everybody I've talked to found this to be a very clunky solution, and nobody found that it works right. And so they came back to us and they said, well, we know you want to do manned cameras, but that's out of the question. I said, well, it's really the right way to do it. I think we can train a staff and make it very efficient and light. And, you know, we don't have all the setup of all day because we don't have a production truck and all that stuff. They said, yeah, that's not going to cut it. And on that was a Monday morning. And I said, what am I going to do? And I think, Paul, I spoke to you maybe an hour or two after that. And you said, I said, I have this idea and I think it could work. Could it work? And you said, yeah, I think it could work. And so we have, you know, these wonderful PTZOptics cameras. These are the 20 times zoom cameras. And from that Monday to that Saturday, we had to figure out how to take an Xbox controller and these wonderful PTZ cameras and control them with this, because you guys make great products, you make great controllers, but the controller that you have for each camera is not really designed to do smooth movement throughout a soccer game from different, different camera angles, right? So we figured out through some software and through some jury rigging how we could control each camera, and we use the joystick here, and then we can zoom with the different buttons. And so we were able to pull off in under a week doing a live stream, live broadcast basically, with 4 PTZOptics cameras, all controlled by Xbox controllers. Each camera had to have its own operator to do this. It came out phenomenally. In fact, the league asked us to put a proposal together to do this league-wide, and we've done that. So
that's awesome.
We're really excited and hope we get to roll that out, and we're working on how to actually have these operators now be here at our facility, which we know we can do and have tested, but we didn't roll out that night. We thought it was too much to do. If something went wrong, we wanted to, the first time, have it there, having not had enough time to prepare for it. We ran 2 video replay systems, and it went off great.
So this footage, you sent us a little bit of footage I'd like to take a look at. This is 3 PTZOptics cameras, but it's all being transported.
You're right.
Through the
we
public
have 4,
area.
we used 3 of them. Yeah, we had 4 of them, we used 3 of them, that's correct, sorry.
And you're using these
Say that again?
LiveU portable uplinks on each camera. So it's all going over 4G?
It's all going over 4G. The LiveU packs have up to 9 cellular modems inside, or cellular cards, and they bond the signal of each camera. So no, we didn't use any public, I mean, technically, yes, that's the internet we all use, but we didn't use any like public Wi-Fi or anything. The key is we use no infrastructure from the stadium at all other than electric, and we're working on a way to eliminate the need for electric from the stadium.
Yes, we've worked with some battery packs. So I'm showing the LiveU. Is this the one that you used, or was it a different model?
I actually don't have your feed in here because we had a little technical issue with that earlier with reconfiguring our studio here from
Solo.
No, we use the LiveU LU 500.
Gotcha.
We're waiting on our 600 units, which should be here next month. They're the newest units, and they use HEVC, HEVC. Actually, Rory's bringing me in one here. This is the LU 500. We're waiting on the 600.
Ooh, that's
the
big on
Solo
ours.
is a great unit. The Solo is a really great unit, but we have one, but I don't think it would have been robust enough for what we're doing in this situation. This has the Solo. You can have up to 3 cellular cards. Also, it goes straight to the web. The LU 200 can use 3 cellular cards and bond Ethernet and Wi-Fi, just like the Solo, but it would send to the LiveU server. So we sent this, instead of sending it straight up to the cloud, we send it to the LiveU server or to the internet. We send it right to the LiveU server, which is in our facility, and then we put it into the switcher. It's actually a really robust setup. We come out of the server and go into a 20 by 20 Blackmagic router, out of the Blackmagic router into the switcher, and into the video replay, and into the second video replay, and then the outputs of the video replay go back into the router and then come back out into the switcher. If you followed all that, Congratulations, you're doing
I
good.
know.
And,
I think I got lost after
Yeah, that was
Blackmagic.
a little bit much, but Michael, what I'd like to do at some point is to create a wiring diagram and a case study with you so we can kind of lay this idea out on paper.
We're definitely going to do that. Absolutely. And here's the LU. This is the LU 500. The 600 is even sleeker and has some great features, and it does HEVC, which I call HEVC, because I don't know why we have to go HEVC. And it's that's H.265, which will create the ability to do better quality at lower bandwidth. It's unbelievable. I've used it actually. It looks amazing.
Well, I've seen it as well at the trade shows, and the PTZOptics cameras have HEVC H.265 built in. So without having to recompress H.264, you can actually do H.265 natively from the cameras. So I don't know if that would help. I'll have to talk that through with the engineers. Speaking of the LiveU box, I have a little bit of footage I want to show about our new studio, and it's going to tie in a little bit here.
Did you use the LiveU box for this somehow?
What we'd like to do is, so we're building a completely NewTek NDI-based studio. So that means we're going to have over 25 cameras in every single office, every lobby, every studio. We have multiple studios and streaming spaces.
Every bathroom.
Not the bathrooms,
Just
Tess.
kidding.
Tess was pushing for that. No. But I'm showing the Cat 5e, and we pulled Cat 6 for the main streaming boxes, and you're seeing the router here. We installed a Ubiquiti wireless system. So this is internal to our office.
Very thorough diagram.
And then we've got the Wi-Fi routers from Ubiquiti. And so internal to our office, whether we are the cameras are hardwired over power Ethernet and all connected, or whether we're going Wi-Fi with our smartphones or our computers, everything's connected via the network, and every single camera is available to every single computer and source through multicast. So if Tess wants to live stream with the camera from her plays, we can live stream from ours. But the whole backbone is done with a 24-port Unify Ubiquiti router, which you can see here. We're just setting up the dashboard. And I just wanted to give you guys a little sneak preview because we're going to start streaming from a new studio. This is the new studio here. We're painting all 3 walls completely black with black chalk.
This is literally in the midst of the job.
And then here they are installing the brick. That's the brick wallpaper. We're doing this on a budget, but it's really going to look good. And then here's just the last little bit I wanted to show. That's almost the brick wall totally installed. So here, what I'm getting at is next week we're off because it's Thanksgiving. But the next time you guys see this show, what we're going to do is we're going to be broadcasting from a new office. And on Monday on our Stream Geeks channel, what we'd like to do, and I want to ask you about this, Michael, because this is an interesting scenario. We want to take the LiveU box, plug in HDMI from like a real broadcast switcher, okay, in the studio, start the live stream, have multiple cameras, lights, all of that. Mid-broadcast, unplug the broadcast switcher, plug in a wireless camera where now we can go ahead and just walk into town and literally walk through a city. Is that possible?
So it's possible. Here's the one issue you'll have with it. First of all, you guys are doing a great job, and I love what you're doing. I love that you're on the bleeding edge. That's what we try to do. And we're actually putting in a Ubiquiti setup in here in the next few weeks as well. We're waiting for our new internet to come in that's going to be super, super duper fast because we've just exceeded our needs already. But anyway, the answer is that yes, you can technically do that. The problem is, and we've never tested exactly how long this is, but when you disconnect the camera from the LiveU pack, at some point, and it could be 1 second, it could be 5 seconds, it will disconnect from wherever you're streaming from.
That's what I was worried about.
So, and it's something that every single LiveU customer has told LiveU they'd like them to change, and they've talked about it, and they haven't. Yeah, like even a LiveU logo come up or something. I mean, think about this. If we get to a stadium and our cameras aren't set up, but we want to test the bandwidth or we want to do something, even just to be able to broadcast the LiveU logo so that we know, because it won't even broadcast if you have no signal. So it's something we'd all like. I love LiveU. They're a great company. I know that they get asked this a lot, and I think it's really because they want you to know if your camera's been disconnected, and they feel that that's the easiest way. That's the best explanation I've heard and have, and it's certainly understandable. I'd love the option to be able to put up an image or something, especially, like, couldn't we just put up, what if the cable, especially with HDMI, popped out? couldn't we have a technical difficulties message instead of just vaporizing?
Absolutely.
I'll talk to them about it. Again, and I'll come back to you, Paul. And we will get a wiring diagram and a case study going as well. I like what you guys are doing, though. NDI is pretty awesome. I wonder how it works, because when we use NDI and we do multiple sources, it gets a little tricky, and it doesn't always stick the landing, let's say. So I'm curious, when you have 25 sources up and you want to switch between them, if it really is as consistent as you want it to be.
Well, right now, if you don't mind, Michael, I have a producer here. Michael, can you go through 8 cameras? We have 8 NDI cameras in our studio. So camera 1, testing 1, 2, 3. Our main camera here, camera 2. This is our close-up, which we can just go from me and Tess. Quick little close-up cam. We've got a side camera. This is NDI. This camera, no one's allowed to know about that we have NDI on it because we haven't announced NDI on the box cameras. We've got, this is camera 6. Camera 7's up here, our overhead shot. And then camera 8 is over here. So that's 8 NDI cameras on our network. Now we don't have time to go over how it all works, but what's more exciting to me and the dream of NDI is an entire office. Computers, phones, lobbies, 25 cameras, different rooms, different sources from everywhere. And so from a producer's perspective, it's going to get interesting. Like imagine we have 3 studios in our new office that we're building. It's going to be done very soon. What if we want a confidence monitor? Well, plug in an Intel NUC and the NDI studio monitor. You can see any of the 25 cameras that you want in low latency. So it's going to become a really interesting.
No, it definitely is. It's very powerful, and I love it, and I've thanked NewTek for providing this technology to all of us. And I think it's tremendous. Now, do all the PTZOptics cameras have NDI built in at this point? So if you get one that has SDI and HDMI, do you also have NDI, or is that something you have to upgrade to as far as a licensing fee, or is it actually something that you only get in certain cameras?
It's true. It is a license that needs to be purchased with us. So we're doing, just a little plug, it is our show. We are doing a $300. It's going to be $600 per camera, but it's going to be 50% off basically until the end of the year. And it's only upgradable for Generation 2 camera models. But that will add, basically, if you put that in, any Wirecast, vMix, live stream, XSplit, OBS, all the tools, all of it will work automatically with the cameras. And it's really going to open up a lot of doors.
But future USB and SDI cameras will automatically have NDI as well.
And then what we'll have is...
It doesn't take one away from the other.
Yeah, it doesn't take anything away. The SDI will still work and everything.
Now, can you do camera control, NDI, and power over Ethernet? So it's one cable to each camera?
That is exactly what it's going to do, and that's what everyone's so excited about. And NewTek has said, Michael Cross came on our show 4 or 5 months ago, and he's already built PTZ camera control into the NDI format. So he's going to build off the Xbox joystick, so you'll love that. Imagine 25 cameras, no need for SDI, no need for control cables, one Ethernet cable, one joystick, and you can choose from 25 cameras and you can take control of whatever one you want.
Pretty impressive. When's that available? We need that yesterday.
I know. Well, the NDI, most of the NDI tools are shipping right now. It's already built into most of the software, and our PTZOptics NDI firmware is going to be available within a few weeks.
Yeah,
it's
it could be any
close.
day.
And you'll have camera control in there?
Yes. Oh, camera control, iris, focus, zoom, PTZ, among some new stuff that I haven't been able to talk about yet.
Will we be able to, we have this idea that we'll be able to do focus with these little buttons. Is that possible?
That is a detail that I am not 100% sure about, but what I will tell you is that in vMix right now, we've done that. Yes, you can program
vMix or Rokosoft.
Was it were we doing it with the trigger, do you remember?
Not with Rokosoft. Definitely not.
No.
We were, weren't we? I thought we've been doing a lot of Xbox control. That detail, I don't want to say 100% yes. We did a video on it. It's on our YouTube channel, and I
I
think
don't
we
know
use the trigger.
if you can program the key for
trigger, yeah.
for focus.
The
Definitely
trigger
pan, tilt,
might
and
not
zoom.
have been available. I can't remember.
And when is somebody going to come out with being able to control this joystick? With so you can control the camera with this one, or you can do pan and tilt on this one, or tilt on this one and pan on this one.
Well, what I will say is you probably want it all to be on one joystick, because then you can also use the diagonals, which really makes it nice for doing like a full circle and spins and stuff. So you probably want all pan and tilts in all 8 directions, up, down, left, right, and then left, right, right, up, or however you want to do it. Say it. There's 8 directions on a single joystick. I think I remember doing the pan and the zooming in and out on like the buttons, now that I'm thinking I'm remembering that, not the trigger.
Now NDI, can we send NDI over the internet, or does it have to only be on a local network?
It's local area network only.
Yeah. Okay.
So that is another issue with NDI at this point, is it's really built to be local area network, which for a corporation or for our new office where everything is on the local area network and there's a nice Wi-Fi with Ubiquiti built in, all gigabit or greater, it's amazing. But no, people have talked about it, and I don't know enough about it yet. It's being done.
New Tech has talked about it. We've just never seen it.
Yeah, I've never seen it either. I've never seen it. So let's roll the credits real quick. We're going to answer questions. We've got a really great giveaway at 2:25. Somebody is going to win either this IP joystick or a new camera.
Yep.
So we'll see you guys in the post show. Tess is looking at the chat for the questions. Thanks so much for joining, everybody. Let's make sure that this video is ready to roll, and we'll go. All right, so we got to take this off. We got to open up Gleam. Okay, and we are back. So we've been talking with Michael Artsis, and from BeTerrific, he's been showing us how.
His last name, didn't
That's
I?
Artsis, not Artiste, if that's what you said. That's Artsis, right?
Apologize,
right, Michael?
It's you just had it, Paul. It's Artsis, but you're good. It's all good.
I bet you that happens every other minute for you.
Pretty much
It's
every
one
other
of those
minute.
things.
Yes, it is, and it gets misspelled a lot. So
Yeah.
it's it's funny. And I get a lot of times when I say, "Hey, I'm Michael Artsis. Nice to meet you." People say, "It's nice to meet you, Mark." I don't know why. It sounds like Mark, I guess.
That's
I
funny.
try to enunciate well.
So we've been talking about everything from remote, camera control, remote production, to the new tech NDI, a lot of this cutting edge stuff. I think this remote production stuff's been around for a while. LiveU's been around for a while, but the real applications, people like Michael going out to a soccer stadium, going out to the esports leagues and actually executing with the technology, is something that is just brand new and is very cutting edge.
Yeah.
Did we miss anything, Michael, before we do the giveaway about what you were doing?
Does
Sure.
BeTerrific do streaming service as well as live content? I mean, what exactly does BeTerrific do for our new, viewers?
Sure. So the reality is that we create positive original programming online. Many times that's live programming, and sometimes that is that's non-live programming. We do it from our studio here on location, and also with our partners at Cumulus in New York City. We're currently building out our own OTT with Cumulus in New York City. They own 4 radio stations in New York, 400 nationwide. That includes WABC, the legendary station, WPLJ, the legendary station in New York, and then 2 other stations, Nash FM, New York's country station, and Radio 1039. We've built out a stage there and a performance space where Miranda Lampert has performed, and
I love her.
all sorts of great stars have already performed. And so we're building an OTT to get great content out to the audience. We do great content. We get it out to a vast audience, and we have great retention times. We do it a lot of times. We do it live from events and conventions, and we tell great stories. That's the idea. So we don't just have somebody like Paul on to talk about the cameras. We talk about the philosophy behind the company, how the company started, who Paul is, what Paul's deal is, what his philosophy is, and what the philosophy behind the product is. We also talk about the products, but we like to find innovative companies that are doing something different that might not get the most media exposure. So we're always talking about telling good stories. And from there, we do a lot of unbelievable things for other people as well. So we do streaming as a service for people. We do live streaming for other companies. We've done work for Showtime and a lot of other places and great, wonderful organizations. We teach them how to do it. We equip them. And in addition to that, we also do it for them. It's not, really what we are is an OTT and online network, and that's what we're building towards and striving to be. But at the same time, we do a lot of these other things as well, and we would be remiss to not do that stuff. We also do projection mapping and video walls. We do stuff when people say this is an impossible task, we figure it out and do it, and that's when we get the call a lot of times. So it's kind of a combination, but really what our hallmark is to be a company that's doing great content all the time and putting it out there. We've got several shows. Garage Kings is on Amazon Prime right now. You have your own show, don't you? Yes, I do. Thank you. I've got the Michael Artsis show, which is on our site, and I think it's going to be on Amazon Prime soon as well. And then we've got Broadway Bartender and a bunch of other stuff. So we'll be live from at CES from January 9th to the 13th, wall-to-wall coverage every day. Yes, I think we're going to do something together too.
Great, I look forward to that. That sounds amazing. What a cool company. We do what
very dynamic, a lot of opportunity there, and I like the idea of always telling a story. People love that.
Yes, that's amazing.
Very smart.
Thank you.
So we've got a giveaway to go over. So let's go ahead and do our giveaway.
Announce this week's live technology giveaway winner. As noted in the contestant rules, all winners must be present in the chat room to claim the prize, or a new winner will be drawn. Drum roll, please.
Okay, as you guys know, we always pull a winner. You can choose to get an IP joystick, or of course, and Tessa's going to force
Kyle Gunderman! Yay,
Kyle Gunderman! All right,
so long
congratulations.
as you're still here, let us know that you're still here in the chat. I did say hi to you earlier today, and then we'll go ahead and spin for you.
So that'll be fun.
Congratulations.
Here's the wheel that we spin that everyone likes so much.
So we have this fancy wheel that has a number of different prizes on it. And one of them is a free camera. That's what everyone's trying to get. But if he doesn't win, he can choose, or if he doesn't like what he lands on, sorry, I'm saying this confusingly, he can choose an IP joystick.
There we go.
He can get an IP
joystick. That's very nice. I hope he wins the
that
camera.
That will be fun.
I'm rooting
Hopefully
for the camera.
Kyle is here. Everyone
We've
loves
never had somebody land on
win.
a camera yet, so we're hoping for that
Today's
too.
the day.
You'll be the lucky guest if that happens.
There you
Do you want to spin today?
Because I'm like... Oh, Kyle's here. Okay. All right, I'm going to spin it.
All right, go ahead.
Here we go.
Good luck, Kyle.
Woo!
Come on.
Free camera. Here we go.
I get a little nervous every time.
That was some spin, by the way.
Oh my gosh.
All right, Chat Connect Pro, but I would assume you want the free IP joystick, so
let us know in the
congratulations.
chat. Congrats,
For the
Kyle.
rest of the year, we're doing IP joysticks. Everyone wins every week.
Jumping into the chat room to follow up with some questions, there was a comment that I wanted to highlight. Chad said, Cloud for NDI does bring your NDI into the WAN, just a little more work.
Oh, okay, good.
I wonder how that would, how does that work?
So the WAN is the wide area network, so
Yes.
the local area network's internal. The wide area network would be the public internet.
Yes.
And technically, there would have to be a VPN going on, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But I
Absolutely.
guess, wow.
We'll look more into that. That's very interesting, and maybe we can report back together. And by the way, I'd like to invite both of you on the Michael Artsis show, so maybe we can figure that out
amazing.
and talk about it then. We'll have
Thank
to set
you
it up
for the
for
invitation.
December.
Cool.
Very
That would
well.
be great. Okay, Kyle says he'll take the joystick.
Kyle's going to take the
Figured as
joystick.
much.
So we've
Let me
still
head over
been
to
getting a
Chris.
bunch of questions for you, Michael. One question, which I think I know the answer to, but ESPN is asking about the LiveU boxes. They're not NDI compatible at this point, are they?
If ESPN is asking that question, give them my phone number. Tell them to call me. I'll answer it.
Is that what they're saying, or is it someone else?
Where is it? ESF
NPA.
Okay. Well, anyway, I'm answering
funny.
the question anyway. I was just kidding. The answer to the question is no. There is no NDI available on the LiveU packs yet. I think that the LU 600, I know for a fact, doesn't have it. I imagine that maybe in the LU 700 there might be NDI, an NDI option. So obviously HDMI, SDI, and NDI would be the options if they did that. They currently have HDMI and SDI in the packs. Now these packs that we used, they have a great deal on, but they're pretty expensive. You have to do a monthly lease. They don't sell them really unless you want high volume and you're a big broadcaster. But there are other options you can buy from them that might be a better solution. And anytime you can plug into Ethernet, you're going to save a lot of costs. So if you could plug into Ethernet and bond Ethernet with cellular, you could buy the LU 200 and get away with that. And also, if you're not doing something for a major professional sports league, you might be able to get away with a little bit less quality. Also, with HEVC coming out, you might also be able to do that, and you could rely on the LU 200s, and then you're going to pay a lot less money per unit.
Now, with these LiveU, just a personal question: not multicast, simulcast? Could you go to Facebook and YouTube off one device?
Yes, technically you can. So the way that these packs are designed is really to go to the server back at your facility. It was really designed for production crews out in the field, live news hits. You can, however, send it to like Livestream or Ustream or YouTube or whatever. And if you use LiveU Central, you can send it to LiveU Central and fan it out through there. Also, you could use services like Switchboard. There are a couple others that do the same thing if you wanted. It all depends on what you're willing to pay for and what you're trying to do. But yes, you can take one signal, send it out, and then fan it out from there. Now, the Solo is kind of more geared towards what you're asking, but it has the bonding capability, but it doesn't have the cell cards built in. And that only goes to the internet. So it only would go to a live stream or YouTube or a Facebook Live or something like that. And then the LU 200 kind of bridges the gap in the middle and does a little bit of what this pack does and a little bit of what the other pack does. You also might be able to get a great deal on older LU 500s coming off lease now if you're looking as well, because they're going to start swapping them out for LU 600s.
Very interesting. Yeah, that HEVC. Can you tell me a little bit more about? So, is the quality that much better? Are you saving bandwidth? What's going on with this H.265?
So they say that it's up to 4 times as good, or up to 4 times better for the same bandwidth. So you could basically cut your bandwidth in half and still have double the quality.
That's what I've heard.
Right. I would say I think that they're being, I think most times people oversell and underdeliver. I think in this case they're underselling and over-delivering. I would say it's even better than that. And I saw something broadcast at 1.5 megabits a second, which is not even doable today, right? I mean, you wouldn't even be able to see it. And to me, on a 60-inch screen, I think it was a 60, it might have been a 55, but it was a 55 or 60-inch screen. It looked good enough to me to be broadcast. Now, obviously you'd like it to be better, but it looked good enough. And so that's at 1.5 megabits a second. We're doing nothing under 7 megabits a second right now. If we could back that down to 3.5 megabits a second, I'd be very happy on the bandwidth costs, and I'd be very happy on the delivery side. So, and having to go into a place and get less bandwidth, because there are a lot of places we go into and we have 7, 8, 10 megabits a second available. That's wonderful. There are a lot of places you go into where you have 1 or 2 or 3 megabits per second available. So I think that it's really going to give us a lot more freedom and flexibility. It's going to reduce the costs in most cases, and it's going to give us a better image quality. There's one thing about it that is better too. When it gets to the lower bandwidth where it starts to struggle under a megabit a second, it doesn't tile like the old H.264. It still looks smooth. It just isn't as clear.
Wow. That's H.265 has licensing involved with it. You know, some of the royalties we pay as a camera manufacturer just to have it built in. Although I haven't seen it implemented as much as I'd like to. Getting a lot of funny questions. I got a really funny one I'm going to throw at you, and then one of the questions people are asking is, can we get a studio tour? While we're here. But here's a funny one. Howard Jones from USA Live Streaming, one of the cameras that he was using that he sent to you actually had his YouTube RTMP in there. So when you turned it on, unknowingly, you were live streaming to his YouTube channel and he was seeing a behind the scenes of your studio.
Oh, that's funny.
Sorry about that. Yes, that's very true. We didn't, we like I said, we were up against the clock. We just took the stuff out of the box and started hooking it up and paid no attention to what the settings were at the moment. Just wanted to get an image up and start controlling it and then figure out everything. So he did see a lot of what we were doing behind the scenes as we were doing it, and I'm sorry about that. We should have checked first or done a factory reset.
Well, you might not have known, but yeah, you would have to remove the RTMP key and reboot the camera to get rid of that. And I should have told you, I guess he should have probably done that before he gave it to you. But so what about the studio tour? Can you show us a little bit or just tell us about how you guys have it set up there?
Let me tell you about it, and I'm happy to do like a YouTube video or something, or a video on my phone that I can send you guys, and because we're not really equipped in this studio to walk around. So I think
where are you right now with this little set here?
So this is our studio. This is where our headquarters are in Secaucus, New Jersey, and this is our studio. And we're really, really excited about this. We have a bunch of different locations here we shoot from as well. And this studio is set up in a way that we have 4 to 5 cameras in here at any given time.
Right.
We then send the cameras over the hall. There's a hallway. This is behind the cameras is a glass wall, so we can invite a studio audience in, and they can get about 10 deep if they're willing to go through the glass. So some of the people can be in here, and then they can go about 10 deep if they're willing to be look through glass. Across the hallway is our edit facility and control room. We have 4 editing stations. I'll come back to the studio in a second, but we've got 4 editing stations across the hall. And the first editing station is a 4K monster. I've written about it on Planet 5D, but we built this 4K machine. It's an 18-core Xenon processor with 2 1080 NVIDIA graphics cards. Everything is liquid cooled in the machine, and we use it for DCI, 4K, stuff like the highest.
Sorry.
I don't know if that clap was for us, but thank you. Thank you very
That
much.
was for you, but then we realized it was obnoxiously loud, so we had to cut it short.
And so then we have 3 other terminals. They're all connected to our server and storage array in there, and that is from Small Tree. We also have an older server and storage array from Small Tree as well, and it's time, I think, for us to upgrade and get another one, so we're about ready to do that. We can have up to 10 editors off of that server and storage array at any given time, editing on the same project or different projects. Currently, we have 4 terminals set up. Beyond that, we have our media management section and kind of our gear check-in and check-out. So Rory sits there, and he checks in our gear. He checks out our gear with a barcode system, and he can tell, I can find out in a minute what that barcode system is. And we barcode all of our gear, including memory cards, and boop, now we know where it is when it goes in and comes out. And then he manages the media in and out as far as hard drives from Atomos, which are SSDs from SanDisk, as far as memory cards, as far as the memory cards from the audio. He manages all the gear and all of the media going in and out of the facility. Beyond that, we have our control room, and our control room is set up as such. We have a Mac computer running ProPresenter, which we make a scheduled playlist out of, so that we're 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, all the time, with content maybe you didn't see yesterday. That is a source into our master control computer. We then have a video switcher, which is fed by this studio, and that switcher, which is a custom-built switcher. We built both the master control and the custom-built switcher. They're identical machines, and one can replace the other if one of them breaks down. The master control computer works pretty much 24 hours a day, 7 days a week since we built it 3 years ago, with restarts every Monday. The switcher goes into that as a source as well, so that we can do anything we want in here live and record it. And then when we can do anything here and not go live, rather, and we can record it, or we can just set up and test. And then when we want to go live, we take it from master control. so that we're not interrupting things that are live and stuff like that. It's a really great workflow. Those machines are both i7s. At the time they were 8-core or 10-core machines. They're running, I think, 64 gigs of RAM each, and the processors are liquid cooled, and we have a ton of fans in there for air cooling. And those, we had a third one of those, which we sold to a client that we used for mobile, for our mobile sets, because now we do at-home production. We don't need one for our mobile sets, and because I figured out how to Hackintosh a Mac and take just a little trash can and run Windows on it so that we could run either vMix or LiveStream Studio. So both of these are currently running LiveStream Studio, but we could run vMix or any other software on there as well. And those are then fed audio-wise by an audio board that's currently a Mackie, because our Behringer X32 had its USB card go bad, and it feeds the system with the USB, over USB, the Mackie. The Mackie and the Behringer both feed over USB. The Behringer, the USB card just came in yesterday. We haven't had time to replace it yet, but we use a digital snake from Behringer, which is one Cat5 or Cat6 cable over the hallway to run into here to an S16, and then we have audio monitors off the P16s. In this case, we have an audio snake, an old school analog audio snake that runs across the hall over the ceiling, and gives us our inputs and returns, and we plug those in analog connections into our Mackie, and that runs USB into our switcher setup. So it's really a robust and very flexible setup in there. Of course, we've got our LiveU servers in the rack, and we've got all sorts of different gear. We just got our Wowza Facebook box in, which we're testing for them. It is called Clearcast, I believe. Is that correct, Rory?
Yes.
Is that called Clear?
That's what it's called. It's
a pretty amazing box, and it allows you to much more seamlessly stream to Facebook and control your Facebook, plus get your chat room back in as a talent playback monitor. So that's really cool. We're in the process of testing that and giving feedback to Dave from Wowza. He's amazing. He's the CEO. We love Wowza. And we've got a bunch of other gear set up in there. Then we've got my office, which we have wired to the server as well, so that I can look at things. And we use Alexa, by the way, as our intercom through all these places. And then our gear cabinet and Adam and Dave's office to the left of my office. And Adam and Dave can both edit off our server from their offices. And then we come back to we have a kitchen that connects to our studio so that I can eat while I do this. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, my goodness.
And then in here, we've got a video game console to my left, or it's not a console, it's an entire rack of consoles. We've got every console for video gaming shows. We've got a 60 or 70-inch flat screen that we can play the video games on and see the Skypes back. And then we've got a confidence monitor, talent playback monitor. In here, we've got Alexa to communicate back and forth with the other rooms when we're just working in here and doing things. And then I use the Shure SE215 earphones or headphones, and sometimes a combination of other things. Currently, it usually goes into the P16, but today, because we're using the Mackie, it goes into a 1/8-inch extension cord, which runs into which runs back to the back of our set into our return for our snake. The set is all pictures that I took that we sublet from Skyline. They do trade show booths, so they printed out those for us. Those backdrops can come out anytime and be replaced with other ones. I took all those pictures, and we also can drop a green screen or other backdrops here, which we've done in the past. And the whole set comes out in like an hour. We also change up the furniture in here from time to time. And this is just a playback monitor. Rory, you wanted to tell me what it's called Asset Panda. Thank you very much. You could have done that over the IFB, but thanks for scribbling on a piece
who was
of paper.
asking about that?
Style.
Kenny Hampton was asking about the barcode system. So it's Asset Panda.
Asset Panda.
Asset Panda.
Not inexpensive, but we love it. Asset Panda, and you can use it from phones. So when we get out in the field and we want to check in gear and say, here, it's now at CES, boop, and now it's no longer David's responsibility. It's going to be Adam's responsibility, boop. So we know where the gear is. The idea is that we know where the gear is at all times. So if something goes wrong, we can try and figure out who touched it last, but also if it's missing, we can try and figure out where it is.
That's scary. Don't get the barcode system, Paul.
Well, a lot of questions coming out, and some breaking news from ESFTV said LiveU today has announced adoption of the NewTek NDI with their brand new LU2000, which will be recognized as a source as NDA-enabled devices on everything on the LAN. So I'm guessing you can go outside of the studio and it comes back to a box on the LAN They say, quote, the LiveU NDI integration enables broadcasters to receive their feeds over IP video directly from the LiveU LU2000 bonded video receiver. Timely news. Thank you so much, ESTV, for letting us know about that.
Thank you very much. And I did get a call from LiveU earlier from Claudia, so maybe she was telling me about that announcement. We've been missing each other for about a week, but so that's the server end. So you would take the LU 500 or 600 or 200 packs, or even the Solo wouldn't work with this. 200, 500 or 600. Send the video back. That would be an SDI connection. Send the video back over cellular, and the new server, the 2000, I guess, receives the signal, and instead of putting it out as SDI, it'll put it out as NDI into your system. So that's really tremendous. And I wonder if you have to have 4 different outputs for each camera, because the biggest server they make now is a quad. With the outputs on it. So that'll be interesting. Thank you very much for that. We'll have to look into it. One last thing, we have a lighting grid up here. I don't know if anybody cares about that, but we've got a nice little lighting grid that we made out of some pipes from Home Depot and some fittings, and then we have all sorts of LED lights in the ceiling. And we backlight the set with some fluorescence.
Yeah, it looks backlit. That looks great. I don't know how much time we have. We're getting a lot of questions. I have a personal question I want to ask, because you mentioned all the editing that you have. And one of the things I've kind of come to think about is that with all the live technology and the multi-camera switching and everything, isn't the need for video editing kind of starting to be reduced? Or do you still need to do just as much editing when you're building a Amazon Prime show? It sounds like you do a lot of editing over there. How is the world working with all of this live technology, allowing you to do so much live in one take, and then the massive amount of times people spend editing? Like, where do you fall
the biggest cost on any production in my mind is always the labor. So how do you cut the labor down? Well, you cut the time down, right? And so I think that there's a lot of editing still happening. I think on the major shows will be the last to move this way, but I think a lot of people will start to move to figure out things and more efficiencies to cut post-production time. That's what I've been doing. That's what we're doing. You know, what you can't do live, well, you can do it, but what becomes harder and takes more pre-planning is all sorts of flashy effects and graphics and music and montages, all sorts of sizzle. But the other stuff, you can really do all of it live. And so we kind of do a combination at the moment as much as we can. So even if we're not streaming the show, the actual output live, we're switching it live. So for instance, Broadway Bartender, we walk in at 9 in the morning, at 5 in the afternoon, we have a hard out. We light the place, we light it right. We use Atomos recorders and all this stuff. And then we switch it live, but we don't actually stream it live. We record it very, very high quality, and then we tweak it. We also ISO each camera. So if there's anything that was switched wrong or there's a problem, it's no problem. We have the ISO records. We might change one shot. We might change none. And what we really do to take the pressure off is we put the intro and the outro, the credits and the graphics on in post. And any real color correction is done in post. But we're able to do almost everything, including add LUTs, live. We're able to also record it raw. We dual record everything. So we record it in camera, we record it on an Atomos, Shogun Flame, and then we record it obviously back here at the facility. So the idea is to speed the production. We actually went from taking a 30-minute episode and it taking at least a week to cut each one and color correct it. We sped that process to a half an hour per episode. And so virtually when we walk out of there, at the end of the day, 5 episodes are done. They're pretty much done. We've shot 5 episodes and they're pretty much done. They need a little bit of love. And we're literally doing them in a half an hour each. So in 2 days or a day or 2 at most, you can have the entire run of that show edited as opposed to 5 weeks.
Wow. And
that cuts down tremendously on cost. So yes, we're doing more and more of that.
And so exactly what you're doing there on a level of like a real sitcom / real television show, I'm also seeing that on our side where we're working with small to medium-sized businesses who used to take a full day to make a marketing video. Now they sit down, 2 or 3 cameras, a nice microphone, and vMix, Wirecast, Livestream Studio, you name it, sit down, cut it. All right, we made a mistake. Let's try to do it again. Because we're talking about 5-minute videos here. Just cut it again. All right, we got it that time. All right, let's do the next one. And literally 5-10 minutes knocking out videos. So
it's
amazing.
funny. I've been trying to tell some corporations we do business with for years that they should be doing that. You set up a facility to do, you know, a switcher. You don't move the switcher, and you're able to switch between the cameras. But it's really hard. I think it's great, and I know that they're doing it now. But it's really hard sometimes for them to wrap their minds around it. You know, if you want to fire some rapid fire questions, I'll answer them rapid fire. I want to get as much done for this audience as we can.
Thank you, Michael. I appreciate it, because someone is just going ahead and saying you're absolutely right with the LiveU LU 2000. You take the LU 500 into the field. The LU 2000 is the server base that you can actually go out with other units and then send them back and get multiple NDI sources.
And without a VPN, it's the only way it could work anyway, because to send it back over NDI at this moment without knowing more, but without a VPN, it's going to be nearly impossible. And the other thing is, you know, what they haven't thought about is you could take, you know, a PTZOptics with the NDI on it and put it into the LU 500 or 600 and send it back. But I know for a fact the NDI is not built into the packs yet for it to be able to receive it and send it out. So I'm sure it will come, because why not? It's a source, and you should be able to take in any source. But you know, it's not there yet. And there are conversion boxes if you wanted to go that way. So you could take the SDI signal, you could take an NDI signal and convert it to SDI and put it into the pack. Seems counterintuitive in this situation, but it is available.
Right.
And thank you.
Sorry about that. A couple quick questions just to get them going here. TOV Sports is looking for clarification. Can the LiveU Solo connect to LiveU Central?
No, it cannot. It can only, the LiveU Solo can only stream to Facebook Live, YouTube, live stream, etc. You know, it can only go to a CDN. Okay. So it only, they call it, it only goes to the web. It's all the other products that can go to LiveU Central and also to and also to your server. Now, there is a way, there is a Solo like Studio, and there's all sorts of other Solo applications that you can do, and I think you might even be able to simulcast now. You certainly can do it if you integrate Switchboard, but it's not going to LiveU Central.
Okay. What kind of tripod do you have right there? Sorry.
Here? This one?
Yeah.
This is a Manfrotto. This is a Manfrotto tripod with Sackler branding on it, I believe. We have two of them. One has Manfrotto branding, the other is Sackler. Vitek owns both companies, and there was a point where they were getting rid of one of the brand names, and so they put Sackler on everything, and then they put Manfrotto on everything. So it's a whole weird thing. We have a great relationship and partnership with them, and I think that this one was a gift. I don't know the exact model number, but I can tell you that it's got this one's the one with Sackler branding on it.
Looks very nice.
It's a great tripod. We have, in here we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Manfrotto Sackler tripods. This one is behind me is the same one. It's just branded Manfrotto.
Nice.
And I think that that's the 586. I don't know. Hold on. I'll take a look. Ask me the next question. I'll do something I've never done in my life. Get out of the seat while we're live.
Ha!
It is the 536, by the way, the Manfrotto 536.
536. Okay. A question from earlier. How do you or do you handle replay footage in your live productions like this, the soccer game?
Yes, we do handle replay. So the first thing is we come into a video router, a Blackmagic 20x20, or you could go into a 40x40. We put the 4 inputs into the video router. We then go out of the video router. The first 4 outputs go into the switcher. The next 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 go into video. They go into video replay 1. 9, 10, 11, 12 outputs go into replay 2. Each replay kicks out 2 outputs. So they go into 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, you know, etc. And then we take those inputs and put them back into the switcher as the last set of outputs from the router. Now we're using currently a software called Production Truck, which can be an entire video switching solution on a Mac. It's the only video switcher that I know of that's really great that runs on a Mac, and it has video replay built in. So we really like this software. It's certainly geared towards sports. It'll also, through Scorebot, put the scoreboards in. We dedicated 2 machines, forgot about the switching capabilities, and just use replay on it. I like it better than 3Play and the other options out there that are affordable. Obviously, EVS being the best, and you know, if you got the budget for it, go for it. But this is a very good low-cost solution. And then on the Macs, we use Mac Pros personally. They do them with MacBook Pros, but we use Mac Pros. We use a combination of 12 cores and 8 cores. And you can do Thunderbolt out to an external graphics card. And then you can put the Blackmagic SDI or quad link cards in there, deck link quad cards, whatever it is. You can put those in there. So we're doing a very robust situation. And the reason we do the replay like that is because if we really want to be able to make sure we get every possible replay, not only every camera angle, but every possible replay. So what happens is if you have a replay coming in and you hit replay, and it's building that replay or you're working on that. And then, so let's say in soccer is a perfect example, goalie makes a save. Now the rebound gets kicked out. They play around for a second and they score. Well, you want to make sure you have both. So we have a dual replay system and it works out well. And yes, it's very important for video gaming, for esports, for regular sports as well.
Okay, one last question. Tom Hendricks says, what was the name of the Mac software again?
That's called Production Truck, and it's from a company called Blue Frame Technology, blueframetech.com. And we use Unity Intercom as our intercoms, unityintercom.com, and that's all IFB over cellular.
All right.
Well, that's pretty much all the time we have today. Michael, thank you for taking
information.
so much of your time today. Your picture looks great. Your audio looks great. The content, the quality of your content's amazing. I hope we can have you on again.
Yeah.
And this is just so much fun. I really appreciate it.
Well, it was a lot of fun. Thank you guys very much. Obviously, thank the audience and the fans. They're awesome. And you can hit me up at BeTerrificTV with any other more technical questions. We love PTZOptics. We hope to use these more and more, and also at CES. We hope to see you at CES, Paul. And, of course, you're both welcome on the Michael Artsis Show. Thank you guys so much for your time.
Thank you very much, guys.
Thank you, everybody.
Everybody in the chat room, if you haven't yet, be sure to join our Facebook user group, facebook.com/group/PTZOpticsPals. And thank you so much for joining us today. We'll see you next time. If that lands on free camera, I'll pass out.
That means I get it.
This means Michael gets it.
Thank you guys for everything. And Paul, thank you for hooking this up. I really appreciate it.